Maxwell date 10 U.S. arrests case amid unanswered questions before defense case, by Matthew Russell Lee, author on Patron song ruling BBC, Decrypt, Light Read, Radio, Podcast, SDNY Courthouse, December 10. It was day 10 and last of the government's case in U.S. v. Ghislaine Maxwell. Kurt Wheelock got to the courthouse early, at 8. The prosecutor's press guy emailed that it would begin at 9. And did not even write down what other cases there might be that day. This was it. Dodge's last chance, if no longer to expose, at least to cast light on the larger mystery of Maxwell. It began with Small Ball, a man from the NIS Department of Motor Vehicles authenticating a non-driver's ID, another sealed exhibit. Then the main event, Annie Farmer. She was a psychologist of trauma now, and lived in Austin, Texas. But while still in high school she had been in Arizona with her mother and younger sister. The father was gone, except for rescuing Maria from the Wexner compound. Kurt found himself pointing out men's rights, and Annie's older sister Maria was in New York, being an artist for Epstein, something of a contradiction. The story or first Epstein-Farmer connection started at an art show, when Maria was selling her painting for over $10,000. But a major New York art show bigwig, another Gala World enabler, introduced her to Jeffrey and Ghislaine, who insisted she reverse a sale and give it to them for half price. Jeffrey would make up for it later. Faithfully, she did. Soon Maria was working for Epstein, ostensibly buying art, but Epstein never paid, and Maria was about to quit. Epstein turned on a dime, offering her the front desk job at 9 East 71st Street. There he showed her pinhole camera even in the bathrooms, and a steady stream of young girls doing up to Jeffrey's office, some coming down crying. One Christmas Epstein offered to pay to fly Annie to New York to visit with his sister and, of course, with him. He took them to the movies and sat between them. On day 10 Annie testified that Epstein reached over and first held her hand, then rubbed her leg, stopping only when Maria would look over. That Annie didn't tell his sister was understandable, but also part of grooming. "Now we have a secret," was Jeffrey's well-known first move. "Now I have power over you." On day 10 Annie read sections of her journal at the time, the first entry very positive about the New York trip, a later one adding that something weird had happened. Next came a visit to Ghislaine and Jeffrey on the Zorro Ranch property in New Mexico. Annie was told by her mother Janice Swain that Ghislaine Maxwell, described by Jeffrey as his wife, would be there to chaperone, and that there would be other students, a sort of enrichment weekend. In fact there was only Annie, she said. And after Ghislaine bought her a pair of black cowboy boots and sent with her and Jeffrey to the movies in Santa Fe, complete with more groping than in New York, the main event at least of this trial happened, the laying on of hands by Ghislaine. Annie said Ghislaine told her to get naked for a massage, then touched her breasts. The door was opened by Jeffrey was not there. Kurt wondered, how will Team Maxwell go after this? The answer was, slowly. The cross-examination was by Laura Menninger, not Pagliuca. It was not as immediately vicious. Menninger circled around the boots, and as Kurt LiveTweeted it, people responded, WTF? Menninger pointed out that Annie had in fact gone horseback riding, so the boots had been needed. Annie replied that one can ride a horse without $100 boots. But you continued to wear them afterward, Menninger said darkly. Annie said, not to work, only to two-step. So you wore evidence while dancing, Menninger said. What passed for a Perry Mason moment among Team Maxwell? Ghislaine looked pleased with herself. In a deposition she had famously dismissed all of these girls. Now her hired guns was kicking back at a girl with her own boots. Menninger used Annie's application to the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund as a prior inconsistent statement. Didn't you claim to have been sexually assaulted in New York? Annie said. I told them what happened. So you consider hand-holding in the movie theater to be assault? Menninger demanded. Perhaps this is why Team Maxwell had chosen a woman to do this cross. I told them what happened, Annie said. Menninger reminded, not that Annie was under oath, but that all money could be returnable if there were any lie on the application. I told them exactly what happened, Annie repeated. Menninger pounced. But what about what you told a journalist? That you might have had your panties on. I was definitely topless, Annie said. But you don't say my client touched your nipples, correct? Menninger insisted. To this had the trial come. All that remained of the government's case was Annie's ex-boyfriend Dave Mulligan, to say that Annie had told him what happened in New Mexico. The best that Menninger would muster was to point out that Annie had attended his recent wedding. Last but not least for the government's case was Annie's mother Janice Sween. Since many online had been casting the blame on the mothers of the victim or survivors, this was important. Janice had been a single mother. It had been reasonable for her to rely on Jeffrey's wife Ghislaine being on the ranch as chaperone, and Annie had never directly told her what happened in New Mexico. Only that I wasn't raped but something happened. Menninger had nothing, really, for the cross. The government rests, and that was it. Dodge's case, would it be enough to convict Ghislaine? Her defense case, now estimated at 2 to 3 days, would not start until next Thursday. Judge Nathan had some undisclosed conflict the Monday through Wednesday. Kurt thought it was weird. In voir dire juror was pressured to cancel out a vacation trip that would have cut 2 trial days. And when they refused were dropped. No lawyer could take 3 days off mid-trial, and Ghislaine was in jail. But the judge, maybe it was Nathan Senate confirmation or PREV, in bid for the Second Circuit, was the talk in Kurt's vlog. It was snarky. Kurt wasn't looking for problems, only to cover this case to the end. He would review its past over the next 5 days. #Maxwell. And so it continued. Click here for Patreon and more. 2D, note. On October 29, 2021 and again on November 12, Ghislaine Maxwell and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York filed a flurry of motions in limine, heavily redacted. The government argued that trial exhibits are not public and will be withheld. Inner City Press opposed and opposes the continued secrecy. Inner City Press will cover the trial, and all that comes before and after it. Court case cast and Song I, Song 2, Song 3. 5th song and now November 27th song. The underlying case is U.S. v. Maxwell, 20 CR 330, Nathan. To find out more, please follow the links on screen and in the description. Together, let's make sure justice is served.